Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a very special second video. Special because this has been somewhat of an endeavour. For a lot of you that know, for the good chunk of last year, I've been hunting for Professor X. And indeed, the day finally came today where the luck kind of came in. And I wanted to have an opportunity because I haven't played the champion properly from a point of, well, let's just say rarity that I consider taking the champion to different and various bits of content. Well, that's happened now and I've been able to do that. So in this particular video, we're going to be showcasing footage from Act 6.3.6, talking about inverted controls, also Vigilance buff that the champion gets, or kind of a Vigilance effect or Vigilance passive effect, whatever you want to describe it as, and how that can take on champions that have the miss as part of their control, and also take on Falter, because Falter. But also one of the main things that the champion for me is I don't like inverted controls. It's one of the pet peeves I have about Kabam putting into the game, as well as many others. But amazing news to find out that the controls issue is going to be sorted out, so that's one less thing that I can complain about Kabam at this given stage, and finding a decent counter for Gwenmaster, but also a champion and a character that I've wanted to get for a long time. Yes, let's do this. Now, I've just looked over some of my old content, and the last time I posted a video on this champion, the 5-star version, or last time I got to play the champion, was back in September 2020. It has been over nearly 2.5 years that I haven't been able to play this 5-star version of the champion, because I don't have all champions. This has been what this endeavor has been, but it's definitely been a champion I've wanted to get, especially with Gwenmaster, and finding an option for certain bits of content. It's definitely been a great kind of champion. I have awakened it and I have put some signatures in, and I do plan to 200 signature. It doesn't need to be awakened to be good. There are certain reasons that I've chosen to do that, and also when it comes to the signature ability, it's just about improving that prowess potency that I wanted to do. Yes, it does mean that enemies are going to be building up big power, and they have to have a lot of power in order to get the kind of elements of improvement of prowess. It's just a personal preference that I've done for this, and as well some as just personal reasons that I've kind of decided to kind of go, look, I'm just going to put it on for hell's sake. But it doesn't need to be awakened to be good, just to kind of put that point out there. There's some great stuff when it comes to channeling, but also relearning the champion from a point of when is it appropriate to put down or channel your heavy attack, and how close do you allow the enemy champion to kind of come to you, which is something we're going to go over in some gameplay footage in a moment. And that's something to really understand, is going, right, well, okay, so I can put my thumb down. Oh, we'll just hit my mic then. You can put your thumb down on the screen, and how long you kind of take that down there in order to get the enemy close to you before throwing it. And also, should you throw or go into channeling in order to channel up your what is it called, your channeling charges. So yeah, channeling the channeling charges. Whilst you're channeling the charges, when is it a good point to go, look, is this safe? A lot of times I go through a parry heavy until I get my Falter ready, and then I'll go into a moment of kind of waiting, making sure the enemy champion does not have a special attack. There's been several times in training that I found that when I'm channeling, I've got my thumb down for the heavy attack, the channeling, that the enemy has thrown a special attack, and then it's just just completely ruins my rotation and build. So a lot of times I'm finding myself building up in high hit pool fights, building up to an SP3, and then throwing that, and then from that point building past an SP2 a little bit more, and then throwing the SP2. I should get another SP2, so I'm then rotating around and putting in more special attacks as well. So that's kind of the big nice that you want to see, that big amount of damage from it. Now, there's a multiple different types of ways to play the champion. I'm going to put some info in the description if you're interested in some different rotations. I have noticed there are a lot of MCOC Andys out there that are very much specific on, oh, you must play this champion this kind of way, and that's what it's meant to be. And it's dude, sometimes it kind of ruins the fun of it when that's the case. So what I've done is I've put in the description some information about different rotation styles, and the way that I'll play it, I'll go SP3 because it's high hit pools. A lot of the time I like to go SP3, just then SP3, SP2, and then SP2 and SP1 if I can get it in again, and maybe another SP1, and all just kind of get the charges. Again, it just depends on rotation, RNG, the way the enemy is kind of like moving towards you, and whether the enemy AI being as trash as it is at the moment in game, it does mean for some very kind of like scuffy interactions. So you have to be very careful, is what I'm trying to say. After you've won so many fights as well and building up those prowess buffs, which tasty by the end of it, you gain an SP. Another reason for the SP3 is that gain a prowess buff for each Cerebro charge. So the more Cerebro charges you have, by the more fights that you win, it does mean for more potency, improvement, damage, stacks, smack. It does exactly what it says on the tin. As I said, I'm incredibly excited to be busting out this champion to play after two and a half years. So I am very happy about this, and I think let's, without further ado, roll some footage and talk about some of the interactions. We kick things off with footage of 6.3.6. Now, on screen, you're probably going to see in a moment me getting absolutely clattered by inverted controls. So when the enemy throws a special attack, they go inverted controls. The reason I wanted to point that out is because, well, next time round when I kind of give that a go, it's like, oh, that's great, throw a special attack, no inverted controls. It ain't exactly perfect because the way that it works out, like you were going to be power drained in any case with the 6.3.6 path of inverted controls, but an option to take on inverted controls is great. Now, I've already done this one. I've already 100% to 6.3, so it's kind of like in the past, but I need to quickly grab footage of inverted controls, and I don't have the time to go to Gwenmaster, and the same thing when it comes to the Grandmaster, but I'm really happy to have an option against those particular problems I once had. And as well, as options go, is Vigilance. Top left hand corner, you can see that kind of purple magnifying glass type thing. I think it's a magnifying glass. And having an option to take on Vigilance is so damn important. So that's great. Not that Vigilance, but dealing with the miss mechanic. Let's face it, the miss mechanic is annoying for me. Also, having another option to take on Cavalier difficulty, and in particular, the Mutant Quest, which I've not had a Professor X to deal with this particular content for a long time. Well, not that I'd use a 4-star version, it's just having an option, which is great. So the build-up in this particular month here, which I think is like a reckless aggression or something like that, where you go unblockable and you're able to then hit and get a Fury passive by that. It's just great, and I think this is going to be one of my favourite questers in the Mutant Cav quest, and I'm so looking forward to breaking it out next month. Now, I've already 100%ed Cavalier difficulty within 1 week of the content being out. I actually enjoyed Cavalier difficulty for once this month, which is surprising because, let's face it, December's was pretty ass, but this one was actually pretty good. I had a good time. But at least having an option that, and there's no skip to SP3 animation, which is a bit annoying because I wanted to do that in some content, but either way, it doesn't really matter because look at that. This is just questing. That Fury passive build up, the amount of damage rotation you're able to do, it slaps. And especially going like with something that's endured like Punisher, which is like I'm just rotating around some SP1s right here, and I'm just being like, okay, well now you're endured, but I just need to do that, and you're done. That's as easy as that, and I love it. Into stuff like Realm of Legends now, and Realm of Legends has been good. I've been doing it on my kind of account, not the content creator beta account, because I needed health potions. So look, you know, I need to kind of double up the health potions. That skip 3 animation button is so good at the moment for, you know, ramping up the pace. One SP3 into SP2, another SP2, and then hopefully I'm going to try and do another SP1. I was a bit slow there on my kind of rotation. I should have just thrown instead of being cautious. But that's the thing. I've had a limited time to play this champion since getting it, and I'm very happy to kind of like, you know, work hard to kind of like improve it. As I said, it's been over 2.5 years, about 2.5 years that I haven't been able to play this champion. So it's fun. Like I'm having a blast. Like learning a champion that I knew how to play before, but you know, there's 200 and I think it's like 200, nearly 215 champions in the game, and it's just showing the rotations as well of going like, okay, well, I'm going to falter when it's safe to. Sometimes it's not safe, and even then, I'm hoping that the AI, because the AI is quite sluggish and defensive, it means my rotation sometimes I can't be as aggressive as I'd like to. But still, like I'm just seeing like the good damage, and I'm enjoying it. But I could be playing better, is what I'm gonna basically come to the point of. It's just fun. Like when you're having fun, kind of learning a champion, it's kind of like it's there. But there's not really much to learn except for the rotations. You choose your rotations. Are you an SP2 rotator? Are you an SP3 rotator? And this is what we're doing right now, is we're SP3 rotating. It just means as soon as I come out of the SP3, I need to be as aggressive as possible. Build up past an SP2, build up as much power as possible, and rotate around those SP2s. Now I'm going to give that a second crack right now, where we're going to come out of this. And there we go, good intercept, building up that power, smashing through one SP2 for a great amount of damage, coming in again aggressive, throwing that other SP2, great amount of crit set, and the game is done. A lot of fun right there. Could have been played better, but this is all about kind of like the trying to learn this champion again and how I'm enjoying it and the different types of rotations. As I said, I'm sure there'll be some MCOC Andys out there that will go, you need to play it like this. And it's like, well, look, have a look in the description for information on rotations. There are several that a lot of people kind of swear by. For me, I do like SP3 rotations, SP3 into SP2, into a further SP2, and then further SP1s after, based on how much power is left, and depending on RNG from the enemy AI being aggressive or non-aggressive. This is certainly something that gave me great joy when it comes to seeing this, and yeah, however you play the champion is completely up to you. As I said, I like the SP3 rotations. Might not do it all the time, but I just prefer it, especially when it comes to early stages and then when it comes to later stages of getting more Cerebro charges. The more Cerebro charges, when I get that 4, better SP3 damage, of course, better prowess building, of course. So yeah, you do you at the end of the day. I had a lot of fun. I'm so happy to have this champion on my roster and have an option to take on content in the future. Thank you very much for watching this video. Check out some other content located on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that will be, and whenever we get some updates into what's next when it comes to MCOC, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye for now.